I'm going to be asking the chat for some alpha here as we start this update. Does anybody have an opportunity, a stock, a crypto, a real estate deal, anything that you're looking at right now that has 300 to 700% upside? If you do, drop it in the chat below. I'm looking for some alpha. And I'm going to present to you the case here why I think you got a crash for XRP before a 300 to 700% upside rally. And it's one that I am not going to be missing. And so we're going to break down the crash here. No doubt about it. It's a technical bear market. It definitely is a crash. And it's been brutal for a lot of us, right? But for some of us, we've been leaning into this opportunity because we see what happens on the bounce. So if you have other opportunities, let me know in the comments down below. I'm going to be reading all of your comments. But here it is, the XRP crash update coming to you June 3rd, 2026. XRP drops down 69, about 70%, right? From $3.66 all the way down here to $1.12. And as we trade here at about $1.22, right, we're still down about 66% from that all-time high last year. That's brutal. That's rough. But I'm going to show you why we're sticking around and why I just added more. And I bought more XRP yesterday. You better believe it. Let's go. I'm also still in an oil long that is very well in profit right now. The setup is pretty clean. A little bit of manipulation to suppress oil, but I don't think that this can last much longer. Crude, gasoline, distillates, Cushing, just a huge strategic petroleum reserve drawdown again. This is after Japan just had their largest SPR drawdown ever. We're reaching the bottom of the reserves for a lot of countries. And so the issues that we're facing now haven't been too drastic other than a little bit higher prices at the pump. But the shortages have already started to hit some other countries. And if the Strait of Hormuz remains closed, and President Trump actually just said in an interview that we should have it opened up, the blockade, by Labor Day. So that's quite some time, and that's going to be causing some issues. We'll be watching that. I'm in an oil long right now, and it is deep into profit as we trade just below $96 per barrel. My entry was at $89.71 last week, so that trade is doing fantastic. What's not doing fantastic is the private credit funds. And we're even going to show you there's a private equity fund as well, too. And we're watching this ripple effect since the 10/10 liquidation has also hit the hedge funds in the crypto space as well, too. Right, so these private funds are getting hit with a bunch of redemptions. A lot of them, by design, will gate redemptions at 5% or 10%. So this is to be expected, but it definitely isn't easing anybody's feelings of anxiety, and it definitely isn't slowing down. In fact, the redemptions are actually picking up. Let's show you here. This article from Bloomberg hit this morning. Cliffwater private credit fund stung by 17% redemption requests. So another one, their flagship private credit fund capped redemptions at 5% in the second quarter after investors looked to pull out 17% of shares. Now, this is the same Cliffwater that already had big redemptions in Q1. And now they're getting hit with it again here in Q2. And we're going to get more data coming in. Other non-traded business development companies are set to report the results of their second quarter tender offers in the coming weeks. We got Blackstone. They went to extraordinary lengths to let investors cash out. They even, injected their own cash into the deal to keep that one running and basically to get investors their money out. While other funds at Apollo, BlackRock, and Blue Owl enforced their 5% caps on their redemption. So this is not just small operators. This is the biggest operators in the space, the biggest fund managers in the world. And the reason why this has been just terrible for crypto is that it, came into the crypto space as well, too, with big hedge funds in the crypto space also having forced liquidations and also, forcing bigger drawdowns in the crypto space because they've had to unwind those positions. Now, we've been talking about private credit, but you have the first private equity fund to gate investors as well, too. So this is Partners Group Holding AG has capped withdrawals at one of its evergreen private equity funds amid heightened redemption pressure. So I'm going to scroll on down because I want to show you guys this. First, I'll read off their quote. They believe that redemption limitations are an indispensable feature of private markets investing to protect long-term investors in an inherently illiquid asset class. Acting in the best interest of all investors in an evergreen fund means balancing the needs of those seeking liquidity while preserving investment capital for long-term investors who want to capitalize on market opportunities. I appreciate the framing it up, investors who need liquidity. How about investors that are just scared to death? How about investors that are looking at the fund performance and it's just been terrible, right? And there's heightened concerns and they just want out, So they can frame it up however they want. This isn't stopping anytime soon. And I don't think that we've seen the worst of this crisis yet. But I wanted to show you guys this one right here. Down at the bottom. The gating by partners group comes despite the fund's liquidity standing around 15% of net asset value. Okay, that's great. They have cash on hand. They can pay investors. And in addition, the fund has access to an undrawn credit facility equal to 15% of the fund size. Now, this is supposed to give us some, confidence, right? And to me, and maybe some of you are asking the question, well, who's setting up that private credit facility, right? That's another credit fund. That's somebody else lending money to somebody who's already struggling to meet liquidity demands, right? And you start to see how this is all interconnected. A fund of funds is lending money here and there, and we all hold each other up, right, in this space. And they all, and note that from Apollo, Blackstone, they were all saying the same things. Yes, there's some concerns. Yes, there's some issues. This is going to blow over. It was like the Fed telling us that inflation was going to be transitory. I'm here to tell you that that's not the case. I think that we're going to see more. And it's one of the reasons why crypto's drawn down so much as well. The same issues that are happening in the private credit, private equity funds are happening in private crypto hedge funds as well, too, and private funds for crypto as well. So stay safe out there. The liquidity crisis is real, and there is no answer or solution coming in the near future. Into crypto. Today we're sending a letter to Senate Majority Leader Thune. This is from the Blockchain Association, 160 former national security intelligence and law enforcement professionals supporting the Clarity Act. It's on the way. Ripple, perfectly positioned, expanding their DC office. Absolutely love to see it with Stuart Alderati there and the rest of the team from Ripple expanding the presence in DC. They've already been there. They never left, despite our own government attacking us. And we're about to reap the benefits of holding strong and holding the line. This is SBI CEO Yoshitaka Kitao. Although the cryptocurrency market is declining overall, the reason is believed to be that institutional investors and others are raising funds for acquiring shares in 3 major upcoming IPOs of SpaceX, Anthropic, and OpenAI, which are successfully scheduled in the United States in the future. From a fundamental perspective, there are no concerns whatsoever, and I am convinced that if Clarity Act is enacted in the United States, it will bring a positive impact to the cryptocurrency market, including Ripple. So I'm going to be doing a video on these IPOs and how I think it could create some problems. And this has become a topic here in the past few weeks as this has drawn more attention. You have these 3 large IPOs, which are literally soaking up a lot of liquidity right now. SBI Yoshitaka Kitao commenting on this, saying the word on the street, right, is that institutions and others are raising funds right now to participate in those IPOs, and it's drawing liquidity, maybe drawing liquidity out of Bitcoin and the crypto market as well, too, right? A lot of these, and we've seen the outflows from the Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs, not so much the XRP ETFs, which is an important data point. But they're pulling money out of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and folks are getting that cash ready. So if they haven't already gotten exposure to those 3 companies that will be going public, they can get some before they do. But I think that that's going to cause some issues. There's talks of the SpaceX being able to merge into the index sooner than the 90-day window that typically it takes for a company to get into the S&P 500. What that means is that passive investing, 401ks, etc., they'll be forced to buy the SpaceX IPO and basically top blast that chart, which is always historically one of the worst times to buy a stock is right after they go public and IPO. So that could cause some issues. We'll be breaking that down in a separate video. Stay tuned for that. But once again, this is the point, guys. Macro issues with the Iran conflict and oil, private credit issues, private equity issues, right? These private funds having some concerns. In the stock market, right? Getting a little toppy, getting a little frothy. The AI revolving door of liquidity. I lend money to you to buy your product and I scratch your back, you scratch mine. It's all good. We all pump it. We're all friends. That stories where, people are starting to poke some holes in that story. In crypto, though, the fundamentals get stronger every single day. And every single day we're getting hit with headlines of banks and institutions that are moving on their crypto strategy. Bank of America appoints one of its top trading executives as global head of digital asset transformation to lead its crypto strategy. This is coming out every single day right now. Evernorth. For everyone who's wondering when real banks will use blockchain, they already are. The next 18 months will be about how much on which chains under which set of rules. It's happening now. And they give the example of the digital euro that's been put onto the XRP ledger by Societe Generale, one of Europe's largest banks. And so, another prime example. Mastercard steps in today, announcing plans to expand settlement capabilities to include stablecoin, intraday, holiday, and weekend options, giving partners more choice in how and when transactions are settled. And that's going to include USDC, Paxos, PayPal stablecoin, and RLUSD from Ripple, along with a few others. Canton in the room, Canton there as well, but Ripple's RLUSD. But we frame all this up, right? The XRP crash, absolutely brutal, along with the broader crypto market just being in the depths of the darkness here, the depths of the bear market. And if you asked crypto Twitter, they would tell you to capitulate, pivot to AI, pivot to the next hot thing, pivot to prediction markets or the next cool thing. The vibe right now, Hunter Horsley. Crypto Twitter is saying that after 15 years, this might be the year it's over for insert new recent reason why crypto is dead, right? People have tried to say that crypto is dead since crypto came on the scene. And yet here we are. And all of the data, all of the metrics, all of the fundamentals, all of the banks and institutions every single day. But crypto Twitter bro, Johnny Pants 69 says XRP's dead, XRP sucks, and comes here and smacks the thumbs down on my video, which I appreciate. We want the engagement even from the haters. Smack that thumbs down, drop a comment and tell us how much you think XRP sucks. That's how you want to spend your morning. It's not how I spend my morning, but to each their own. But the conversations that are taking place in the institutional rooms over happy hour and drinks in Florida, Hunter Horsley's talking to a financial advisor who says, saw the prices down. It's time to buy, right? It's amazing to finally have access. He says somehow the roles have flipped upside down in 2026, and this is what has me scared. And this is what breaks my heart, is that retail and the people that need the money the most, who need ROI, who need alpha, who need to grow their investments, are the ones who aren't here. The ones who have left, the ones who are going to stay distracted, or maybe they're scared to step in, when I believe it is one of the best times. Now, could the market go down further? Absolutely. But I think that we are very close to the bottom. As I started out by showing you guys the XRP crash, we can't deny it. We're down 66% from the all-time high last year with a full drawdown of 70% that took us to $1.11. But I asked you guys at the start of this episode, do you have any opportunities that have 300 to 700% upside? Because I'm very interested in investing in that, right? I mean, these are returns that Wall Street dreams of. This is why Wall Street and the institutions, while they're sipping cocktails over happy hour, are laughing at crypto Twitter Johnny Pants 69, making a fool of himself, why they allocate billions and tens of billions in the inflows that are about to pour in here are going to be astronomical. And yet, people are just too scared to step in the game, or they just have given up on allocating any more to these assets when I think you're at the bottom of this range and structure with explosive upside coming. And I show you guys this example. If XRP is a failure, right? XRP fails. We don't go to 100. We don't go to the moon. We don't go to 589 and the Riddlers were lying to us. It was a failure. But we go $5 to $10 in the next bull run, right? That is 300% to $5. From the current price right now, 300%. If we go to $10, that's 700%. So just staying ridiculously conservative and running with the assumption that XRP is a failure, we'll get one more exit liquidity pump, and then that's the end of the story, right? Some people say that. Okay. You're still looking at 300 to 700% upside from our current levels if you buy XRP today and it runs up to just $5 to $10. Give me better alpha in the chat below, please. Please tell me what stock, what crypto is going to do this good or better. I want to know. And I push back at those who are considering that, giving up on XRP, not allocating to XRP at this time. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just explaining why I bought more XRP yesterday. And so we're taking a look here, and I want to show you guys an example of what happens here when you have real analysis, you have real conviction, and you stick to your guns. You're looking at the XRP chart and the consolidation that we've had since February. The war starts. We can, chop sideways here. And we had these bull trap rallies. I got a lot of people excited. I wanted to show you guys right here, February 24th, back here, when XRP was trading at, looks like about $1.34, right? We had this big flush out, XRP pumps up to $1.67 or so, and then that's when we start our chop. Well, on February 24th, that is when I placed my buy order to buy XRP, first time buying spot XRP in a few years, right? I've been adding to my XRP long position over the past year or so, and it's been probably at least 2 years, maybe 3 years since I actually took US dollars and bought XRP. But on February 24th, I placed that buy order for $1.21 on Caleb and Brown. Yesterday, this is a true story. I'm holding my newborn son. We're just spending some time. It was in the middle of the afternoon. I was giving my wife a break, holding my newborn son, spending some time with him. And I get the notification email that my order has been filled. My personal broker at Caleb and Brown filled my order at $1.21 that I'd placed back on February 24th. And I share this with you guys to show you sometimes your patience, patience is very difficult to have, but it pays off. When you have real analysis, real conviction, and I show you this, that I didn't buy into the bull trap rallies, right? We had this one just a couple weeks ago up to $1.55. I did not buy into any of those bull trap rallies. I didn't tell you guys that I changed my orders because I didn't. I kept my orders down here to the downside. Nobody wanted to hear it. That's not clickbait hopium. That's not the XRP hype that we all want. But what does it help us do? It helps us be prepared, remove emotion, and like me, you're calmly, maybe you're not holding a newborn baby like I was, but you're calmly sitting back and you let your orders and you let that market come back to you. And with conviction, based off fundamentals, you buy the heck out of these bottom of the barrel prices that are coming in during this bear market. And so yesterday, my order did fill, and it felt so good to ride this out, right? Since February, March, April, May, there's a lot of pumps that we had in between there. A lot of times where we got excited for a minute. This is looking interesting here. Never wavered, never changed, stayed true to the analysis, which said that we haven't seen the climax of the conflict. We have private credit issues. We have not gotten any interest rate relief, which compounds the debt and liquidity crisis worse. Crypto hedge funds are still getting liquidated. And I don't think that the bull run is back on yet. And so we wrote it out. Here we go yesterday down to about $1.19. And my buy orders were filled at $1.22. I added to my XRP long. at $1.21, I added to my XRP spot bags. And I, acknowledge that, yes, we're in the middle of an XRP bear market. It's been a huge crash down. It's been very defeating for a lot of people. But I urge you to look and bring it back to the fundamentals. I urge you to list out the opportunities that you have in front of you. And if you have an opportunity that's better, drop it in the comments down below. 300 to 700% upside. Drop that alpha in the comments. And maybe, just maybe, XRP will even do better than that. I'm going to be sticking around for that ride. I don't care if they want to send XRP down to $1. I'll be buying more. In fact, I have an order at $1.07 to buy more XRP spot bags there. So I'm just telling you guys how I'm positioned, how I'm framing this up and looking at this opportunity. 300 to 700% upside if we're wrong about everything and XRP's a quote-unquote failure. Still sounds like a pretty good deal to me. You guys let me know in the comments down below. And as always, if you appreciate our content, our analysis, and helping you guys stay in the game, please help us out by liking this video, sharing it out far and wide, and all of our community resources are available at zachrector.com. Thank you, and God bless you all. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.